conference call. At this time, all participants are in listen-only mode. Later, you will have the opportunity to ask questions during the question and answer session. It's now my pleasure to turn the conference over to Joseph. Please go ahead, sir.
All right, thanks, Luke. Hello, welcome everyone to today's Fleet Conference Call. April 28th. We're getting here. We're getting here. Baseball's kind of in the swing of things, and we're getting some warm days, some cooler days, some stormy days. But we got on the call today myself, Joe Steffen, Director of Van Operations, and Ben Coffrin, Director of Safety. Ben, why don't you get us kicked off for today?
Thanks a lot. Hey, welcome everybody. Appreciate the time. Yeah, literally 5 minutes ago, I was just talking on an open deck situation where we had windshield of a John Deere tractor explode, and it's actually because of the pressure and the temperature changes that the spring and the winter and the fall months present. It could be 100 degrees in Laredo. You get up to North Texas or the Midwest. Last night, I think Iowa got down to 38 degrees. You know, we got a little bit of a cold spell. So you never know about the spring weather here in the Midwest or throughout the country. So yeah, good for that. Speaking of spring, you know, I've mentioned it for the last 2 weeks, and I'm going to mention it for a third week. Construction zones. You know, we had a couple instances in the last week that's a learning lesson for a lot of our operators out there, and construction zones also include obviously lane closures and speed reductions. We had two instances that are learning that are lessons to be learned in the last 7 days. Last Friday, we had a 60-day lack of unsafe driving violation streak from February up until last Friday. Avenue of the Saints, if you guys are familiar with that in Iowa, from Clear Lake to Mason City, it goes to Highway 18, and you know, on your way towards Waterloo, Iowa, and there was some construction zone, and where the big orange sign, arrow sign, pointing to the left lane and reduction of speed, guess who was right behind that sign? It was a DOT truck, and our driver was going the speed limit until the construction zone and did not get slowed down in time, and he got a ticket for speeding the construction zone, which is a very hefty CSA violation, let alone a probably hefty fine for the operator. So, you know, that means you have to get to that speed before you enter that construction zone. So a little bit of a lesson for that operator, and, you know, it dings our CSA scores. And it's an unsafe operation. You know, those DOT officers, they're going to be right there where they can get you for the enforcement. Fair or unfair, entrapment or not, it is what it is. We got to obey the speed zones in the construction zone. And then just yesterday, as a lot of you short haul and van operators are familiar with, Iowa City, not only is that the third most unsafe corridor in Iowa, where you have between Iowa City and Coralville on I-80, you have some construction zone there, and the left lane is ending. We're in the middle lane. We're traveling a little bit faster than the speed, and a very unsafe semi in the left lane blows by us and is trying to get over to cut in front of us.
Almost blows by us.
Almost blows by us, but you know, all we need to do is slow down, let this unsafe semi driver get in front of us. But no, we don't. We maintain our lane, and slight contact was made. So, you know, that operator, you know, while he didn't cause the crash, he sure as heck could have prevented it. So again, two lessons in the construction zones that are only going to be more prevalent the next 3 to 4 or 5 months. I mean, there's two seasons, like I said, there's winter and there's construction zone season in the Midwest. So be alert of construction zones. The chances of getting in a crash increase tenfold there. So want to talk about that for the third week. What's falling down the pipeline? In about 2 weeks, the CSA Blitz is happening. That's the nationwide 72-hour inspection blitz, where they usually focus on a few items every year. Each year it varies. This year the DOT is going to focus on hours of service, both falsification and tampering. As you saw, as many of you may have read or saw the news a couple weeks ago, 60 Minutes did a segment on Super Ego Trucking and about how they were massive frauds of log falsifications. So that's going to be hot and heavy for that 72-hour inspection blitz, and they're also going to target securement. So that's not just open deck securement. That's sometimes it's not. It's a little bit more rare for a DOT officer to inspect the van's securement. But if you ever have live loading and you are responsible for tying on those loads or making sure the securement is proper, aka tractors out of Grovetown, Georgia, they could hold you, based on what the FMCSA regs require for securement straps and forward and lateral and backwards movement. So just be aware of that. That's going to be May 12th to the 14th. Again, we'll get the messaging out next week, and especially, the closer that May 12th comes. So just be aware of that. Couple great things. We got Sergio Contreras. If you guys haven't been on our Facebook page lately, Sergio Contreras was our most recent driver of the month. Very experienced, tenured operator, been with us 15 years. Over 1.5 million miles with us. So couldn't have been a more deserving recipient of that. So again, congratulations, Sergio Contreras, on your well-deserved award. And then we got anniversaries. I want to celebrate Alex Walton for being here for 12 years. 10-year, time flies, doesn't it? I mean, it just seems like yesterday he was in orientation. And then Barry Jacobs, thank you for your 4 years of service and being part of the Warren team. And then we got some birthdays to celebrate this week. Andy Anderson, Dennis Bagaski, Halil Podzik, and Brandon Avery. So happy birthdays to you, and hope you have a great week and celebrate one more trip around the sun. So that's all I have for the safety department. But again, April was a pretty successful month. I know we got a couple more days to go, but really good. I just want to commend everybody for their following distance and their lack of lytics events, the speeding, the following distance, the rolling stops. Last week was a really good week. So if we could just capitalize on that and continue to move forward and reduce those events, the safer company we're going to be. But outstanding job for the month of April. Joe?
All right, thanks, Ben. I always think about that, the CSA Blitz. Maybe it's just anecdotal, but it always feels to me like the week before the Blitz, and sometimes the week after also, is when we get just as many, if not more, contractor inspections as the Blitz week itself. So
that is so important. That is so true. Historically, we've seen an increase the week before and the week after.
So more or less the month of May, just consider that the inspection Blitz week.
Yeah.
Think of it as an opportunity for you to earn yourself some extra money. How much do we pay for clean inspections,
Ben? Level one's $150, level two, $75. We also throw in a blue week and truck wash for those. And if you go to level 3, it's a $50 free money.
So free money. So look for those inspections. Make sure you're clean. And then when you get a clean inspection, that's going to help our out of service percentage 100%. If we get a qualifying clean inspection. So we really want a lot of those. Just be prepared for that. The CSA Blitz is 1 week publicly, but in reality, in my experience, it's about 2.5 weeks when you look at most of the week before it, the week of it, and most of the week after it. So 2.5, really 3 weeks is what you're looking at. I want you to. I guess my only topic today, I want to talk about a few things that are going to help us focus our time, effort, and energy of doing the kind of the hard, fun part of the job, which is getting the loads to match up for you so you can make some money. So some of the things I want to talk about are the things that are 100% within your control, and it starts with safety. Going in, Ben talked about, the lytic scores, but following distance, speeding, things like that. You just go in with the mindset of, I got to keep 6 seconds. You're going to have a huge buffer zone to help yourself. So making sure that you're taking care of your safety so that we're not spending time saying, hey, you need to, we had a problem with this or we had a problem with that, and now we need you to do some remedial training, or we need to come in and visit or something like that. All that makes it much more difficult to do the fun stuff, the productive stuff, fun for both of us, you and us, which is putting together loads and plans so that you can earn some great money, because there's great opportunities out there. So safety things are number one. Then the second thing is use your macros, but more importantly, read your bill of lading. It was ingrained in me in 2002 when I started here that we couldn't even tell the driver what the load number was until after the driver read to us the bill of lading to confirm the origin and delivery or deliveries to make sure that we can catch the problem before you leave. Somewhere in the course of time, and I get it, we want to streamline the process to have it go better so that we can get the updates from the cab. So now the trigger for that is when you get to a customer and you check in, you do your 5 minutes for the arrival call, and then when you get your bill of lading from the customer and you're ready to head out and get on the road to your first stop or your final delivery, whichever the case may be, you send out macro number 4. And that information transmits, tells customer you've left. But the important thing to remember is we're counting on you reading that bill of lading, being the professional drivers that you are, and understanding that, hey, if this bill of lading doesn't match and I drive away, I just agree to whatever's on here, but that's not necessarily what I'm getting paid to do. And now all of a sudden we got, well, I got to figure out where I'm going. You know, it's a bad deal to be 500 miles down the road and then find out, oh, by the way, my bill said I'm going to Albuquerque, but I'm on my way to Baltimore. You know, that's bad news bears. So if you're at the shipper and you say, hey, I'm going to Baltimore, but my bills say Albuquerque, we can resolve the problem, whatever the problem may be. Maybe it's the wrong bills, maybe they get the wrong cargo on you, maybe it's a wrong trailer, all sorts of different permutations of what it can be. But just the first thing is, check your bill of lading before you depart any shipper. Your bill of lading should match. I have a great example from a contractor a couple of weeks ago who was loading at a warehouse on a Friday afternoon, and it was his load to get him home, and home was out in Carolina or Virginia, and he was in North Texas, and the bills, 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon, said to him, go to Oklahoma. And he said, this ain't going to work. I don't go to Oklahoma. And sure enough, I got a copy of the bills. Yep, they said go to Oklahoma. And me and his dispatcher were here till, oh gosh, probably 6:30 or so, and which is not like a big complaint. It's just saying we had to get on the phone to call different customer lines because, of course, nobody wants to work on Friday afternoon. But we finally got to the right person and said, oh, yeah. Oh, I see what they did. Yeah, I'll get the corrected bills. He's got the right load on the trailer, and I'll get the corrected bills. And within 20 minutes of that, we were able to get the corrected bills to the driver. Great job on that contractor's part, because if he had just driven out there, showed up with the wrong bills, he's putting himself in jeopardy and not getting paid for that run. So that's super important. Step 1 is always read and understand your bill of lading. Okay? So and then the second thing, or the last thing I want to talk about really is paperwork related. I'm assuming you want to get paid timely for your load, right? We want to get paid timely from the customer for the loads that you deliver, and many of them require that we provide them with proof of delivery. So when you're at your delivery and you do your macro 3 for 5 minutes and you check in, you're logged on duty on 5 minutes for macro number 3, and then you get back into the dock and you're sitting there rattling around, you're doing whatever you're doing, and then they come knock on your door, or maybe you have to go to a break room, whatever the situation is that occurred at the place, and they give you your signed bills, okay? When they give you your signed bills, you go out to the truck, you go to your ELD, you log on duty for 5 minutes to say, I'm empty at final destination. That triggers to the customer that you're empty. We need you to take that next step, pull out your phone, pull up the ATS driver app, and go to scan documents, take a picture, make sure it's legible, and then sometimes people forget that last step, which is to hit send. But the point is, get your proof of delivery turned in right when you're making that delivery. That way, it's not an issue later. And then the final step on proof of delivery, hold on to it until the load has been settled to you. Because if there is some back-end issue, problem, or something going on, we want to make sure that you still have the originals until you get paid. And then if you want to keep them for your records, I encourage you to do that. If you don't want to keep them for your records, it's not required. But as long as we have the electronic copy upon which we pay you. But you'd be surprised at how much of a fleet manager's time is spent during the course of a week undoing some confusions about maybe the bills are wrong, or maybe there's some safety challenges that you got. Everything starts with safety. So you really can't move on to the fun stuff of finding loads to match up and finding things that are going to work for you until the safety's in order. And then every Tuesday, they're going through a list of loads that have delivered, but we don't have them ready to settle to figure out, okay, what's going on? What do I got to do? How do I get the paperwork? Working through those problems. So if you can get in that habit of just turning in your paperwork right when you hit that macro number 5, it's going to help us to process those bills faster. The other thing that happens is we get a big glut of paperwork on Monday for loads delivered all over the previous week, because that's, okay, the cutoff, I'm supposed to have my paperwork in Monday, so I'll just wait until Monday. But that makes it harder for our settlement team to get any extra loads processed through. So if you can just send it in as you deliver it, it helps us to do a better job for you. So help us to focus our energies on those things that are most important to you, which is getting the loads that are gonna get you loaded, get you paid, and get you home. Because that's what we want to focus our energies on, but we have to make sure we're taking care of the other items as well. So those items that you can help us on, whatever you can do to help us do that, so that we can focus more of our time, effort, and energy on those big three. Get you loaded, get you paid, and get you home. That's what we want to make sure we're getting done for you. With that, Luke, could you remind our callers how to register a question?
Yes, sir. At this time, we will open up the question and answer session. And if you would like to ask a question, please go ahead and press #1 on your phone. Again, that's #1, and you'll be placed in the queue in order to receive. Our first question comes from John Johnson. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Joe, what's the possibility of getting the on-hold message changed from the ice warning?
Yeah.
100% is the possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can blame me on that. I'm one of the people who is delinquent sending out.
I was too.
We have, there's a group of us that are we got alerted last week. I mean, we get the alert every 4 months, I think is what it is. I think it's an automated thing, but to do it. And yes, that is going to be changed. Things go right by the weekend. We got to go to a third party, and then we got to hire the talent to record the voice and all, or the script. But yes, John, it's ice campaign up in the mountains somewhere.
I swear the only thing slower moving changing that message is Congress.
We're like a big ocean vessel. It takes us a long time to turn. But once we get going, we're hard to stop.
I like that.
Get that changed. Do a good job for me.
We'll get it done.
Yep.
Thank you very much. And again, if you have any questions, please go ahead and press #1. I don't see any other questions, sir.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody being on the call today. Looking forward to have another a productive and safe close. There's 3 more days counting today to close April, and then let's focus our energies. Let's have 0 crashes, incidents, anything in the month of May. And that starts with every single day, every single driver having that be a focus every single morning. Thanks for all of you that are already doing it. I appreciate it. Have a great day.